Yo, what's going on, guys? Cultimush back at it with another video, and in this video, we're gonna be looking at 5 great games of the Steam Winter Sale that you probably missed. I asked you guys in one of the earlier videos if you guys would like to see something like this. A lot of you guys said yes. So before I get into this video, I just want to say that for this one, I didn't focus more so on the pricing of the games. I just focused on finding games that were on a discount that a lot of people probably haven't played. So some of these prices are a little high. I'll go over the ones that I think are a bit too high and if I would recommend it for that price. But without further ado, let's get right into this with number 5. Number 5 is Outland. This is a very artistic 2D action adventure game. It released on consoles way back in the day, and then it was ported over to PC in 2014 with really no fanfare. Not a lot of people know about it, but let me tell you guys, this is an exceptional game. Some gorgeous visuals, a really solid foundation for 2D action gameplay, and a really unique way the game tells its story. I haven't played this game in a while. I do own it on PC. I actually played it back on the PlayStation 3 when it came out on there, and I love the game, and it's available for only $2. It retails for $10, 80% off, down to $2, just a great deal. There's also an Outland 2-pack available for $3.19, so if you and a friend want to pick it up, you'll get each copy for $1.60. And then there's the Outland Special Edition, which includes a digital art book and the OST. The music in this game is fantastic, so maybe that's something you want to pick up. That's $2.80. Moving on to number 4, I want to give a mention to Assassin's Creed Rogue. Yes, an Assassin's Creed game. This is like one of the forgotten Assassin's Creed games. It came out the same year as Assassin's Creed Unity. Yes, that game was terrible. And what happened was Unity was released for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and then Assassin's Creed Rogue was released on last generation consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Running on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, you could probably get an idea of how poorly this game would run. But then after about 6 months of its console release, it was ported over to PC, and unlike the typical AC game on PC, this game launched and it ran really well. I remember playing this game right when it came out, and I was just shocked by how well it ran. That may be because it's running on the same engine as Assassin's Creed 4, and that game had already been out for a year and a half. That game had issues at launch, and it probably wasn't that difficult calibrating AC Rogue to the PC. I don't know, but this is a pretty good game. It's very similar to AC4, where it's got a lot of focus on the naval combat, and it's really just your typical Assassin's Creed fare. But when an Assassin's Creed game works, I know a lot of you guys really enjoy it. The issue with this one does come at its price. It's only 45% off. It's $11, which is a little steep. If you're a big fan of Assassin's Creed, I would still recommend to check out Rogue because I thought it was a really good game, but I could definitely understand how people could be turned off by an $11 price point for a game that's, a year and a half old. Number 3, I wanted to include a Japanese RPG on this list because that is a genre that's really starting to gain a presence on PC and really find its footing on PC. Valkyria Chronicles is 66% off, knocking it down to $6.79, and this is a terrific strategy RPG. Unlike a lot of JRPGs, it doesn't have a world you can explore. Rather, the story is told through a storybook. And while initially you might be turned off by that, let me tell you guys, Valkyria Chronicles tells its story wonderfully, and the story is very engaging. The characters have a ton of depth to them, and the star of the game is the gameplay. The tactical gameplay has a lot of depth to it, and it can get really challenging. And another great thing about Valkyria Chronicles is that it's an excellent PC port. A smooth 60 frames per second, you can play it up to 1080p. You can't go higher than that, I believe, at least when this game came out and I was playing it, 1080p was the highest you could go, which that is a bummer. And the game includes all of the previously released DLC. For $6.79, you're getting a ton of content out of this game, and if you're a fan of JRPGs, or even if you're not, this is just a great game for strategy RPG fans. I would highly recommend it. Number 2 is Axiom Verge. This is an excellent Metroidvania style game. If you don't know what that is, it's the Castlevania and old school Metroid style of games. It's 2D, but there's a high level of exploration in the game, and Axiom Verge is an excellent callback to those games. The 16-bit art style looks great, and while it's not the technically impressive game of, say, something like Crysis, looking at this game, it is very aesthetically pleasing, especially if you played games like Metroid, Zelda, and Castlevania back in yesteryear. The gameplay is solid, there's a decent amount of content in it. Again, the bummer with Axiom Verge is that it is a game that's a year and a half old, and it's only 50% off. It's $10, a little expensive in my opinion. If this game was $5, I would tell you guys to be all over it. However, at 10, I still think it's a solid pickup. I paid $20 for this game when it came out because I was really interested by it, and I think it was worth that. Another thing to mention is I believe this was a game that was developed by just a single person, so it just goes to show you what you can do. Stardew Valley is another game like that, and Axiom Verge I think is up to par in quality with Stardew Valley, and you guys know I think very highly of Stardew Valley, so that's high praise coming from me. Finally, number number 1, this is a game that a lot of people know about, but I feel like not enough people have played, and that's Pillars of Eternity. This was made by Obsidian Entertainment, the guys that did Alpha Protocol. They did Fallout New Vegas. I believe they did South Park: The Stick of Truth, and Pillars of Eternity was their latest game. It's in the style of a classic RPG, and it's very, very good. I'm just shocked that it doesn't get more attention. When it came out, a lot of people were talking about it, but it's kind of fallen to the wayside at this point, which is a shame because I do think this is one of the PC's best exclusives. The story is very engaging. The gameplay is resemblant of something like Baldur's Gate, and it's just a really good game if you're into in-depth RPGs. Now, this one is priced a little highly. It's 60% off, knocking it down to 18 bucks, but I think 18 bucks is easily worth it for Pillars of Eternity. Like, yes, it is $18, and that's more expensive than all of the other games on this list, but I think it's easily worth the price of admission. It's a lot of content for your money. You can spend hundreds of hours in this game. There's a good amount of replayability after you beat the game, and if you guys are interested, there is some DLC available as well that'll add a decent amount of content. The White March Part 1, the White March Part 2, those are priced at $9 a piece, so maybe at that point it is getting a little bit expensive if you want all of the content. However, at the very least, if you're a fan of RPGs, pick up the base game. 18 bucks is a great price for it, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. Hope you could find a game that you haven't played before, because I know that's always something you guys complain about in the comments whenever I talk about the Steam sale. I own all these games. None of these games interest me. Well, if none of these games interest you, then I guess just move on and go back to playing Counter-Strike or something. But I'm sure a lot of you guys will find something to enjoy out of these 5 games. I should mention that there are a ton of other games available on Steam that have gone underlooked and that are really good. These are just some of the games I played. I could honestly make this into a series just talking about underrated games on Steam throughout the years, because Steam releases thousands of games yearly, and if I had to be honest, only really like 100 of them gain any kind of traction. All of the other ones, they might be good games, but they just really fall to the wayside and are forgotten about. And I kind of enjoy digging up forgotten games throughout the years, and honestly, these games aren't even that forgotten. Like, we're talking about a game like Assassin's Creed Rogue. It's in the Assassin's Creed franchise. Valkyria Chronicles sold pretty well, so these are kind of like just in the midline of games that have been forgotten about. A game like Outland, I think, is just criminal how much that game has been forgotten about. People just don't even know about that game, and it's a really, really great game. But yeah, I digress. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you have a request for a future video, you can leave that in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.